The Lunaverse by Fable Double Dash, Episode 18, Symphony for Moon and Sun by Aggressive Clouds 2. Let us once again turn back the clock to the 49th attempt by Piano Amour, 930 years post-Celestia. Piano Amour looked out at the audience and nodded. There was little left to do. This one final step, and then it was out of her hooves. She didn't want to retrace the steps it had taken to get here. She knew them all by heart. Her mother's business had suffered a run of bad luck. Her daughter had broken her wings in a bad fall. Her cousin had been scammed out of his life savings. Her husband had crashed his carriage into that of a rich viceroy and had been sued. A stream of problems, each worse than the last. At this point, the once mighty Armour family was staring at bankruptcy and ruination. Was it really 100 years ago that they held seats on the court, counted generals and courtiers as their closest friends, given advice to the princess herself? How times had changed. There had been rumors, of course, of some horrific deed, some monstrous crime committed by an ancestor from a century prior, after which the Armour house had slowly, inevitably collapsed. Piano didn't suppose it much mattered. Penury was penury, whatever the cause. Piano Amour had no particular talents at business or politics. An Armour pianist, after all, could have led a splendid life in the past, keeping her family. She would not beg for alms from the public, though. But if Luna would assess, the banished me, she has to talk to me, and that means I can talk to her. I'll beg her to save the Amour family. I don't care if I get thrown to the wolves later. Of course, she didn't want to be banished, and she had, well, thoughts on how the piece could perhaps be played. Thoughts drawn from her own experience. Thoughts that she figured others who attended it might not have understood. And if, just if, she could play it right, maybe that would be enough to reverse the decline of the Alma house. Maybe her children could grow up in the environment she yearned for them to have. She had to try. So she took to the stage, thanked the audience, and especially thanked Luna. I know this place has a history, but I am pleased to see that you, Your Majesty, came regardless. Your subject is grateful for your appearance. And then she played. It was slower than the other renditions, more mournful. And the ending, of course, was far different than anything any other pony had tried. There was the fight, of course. Oh, there was a fight. A knockdown, drag-out, hateful, spiteful fight, with clashing melodies that annihilated each other. Melodies representing a war between two sisters that could have no winner in any meaningful sense. Yes, Luna was ultimately left standing, but with a shattered kingdom and a shattered heart. I think you felt what it was like to lose your family, to let them down, Princess, thought Piano, as he strived to perfect each theme. I don't think you were happy about your victory. I think sometimes you lie in bed and wonder if it would have been easier had you let Corona win. The Armour family hadn't retained much, but they still had many, many books that they hadn't been able to sell off, and hadn't yet to burn for heat. Histories mostly. Piano read through them, as he knew of the dark days that followed Corona's defeat, of the land plunging into 12 years of chaos, of Luna's drunken spree through the country. It was an alicorn in total despair. The piece ended with a low, long, sad sequence. Luna, the victor, alone. Corona dead, the country in ruins. It wasn't clear if the Luna theme even thought it was the good that she won. Especially in moments it seemed almost suicidal, summoning up snatches of Corona's theme, as if wishing to have her sister back. Though it meant her own destruction. Though it meant leveling the country in burning fire. It was how Piano was certain Luna had felt. Maybe that would move her heart, where all the politic bowdlerized renditions had only moved her to anger at their glib dishonesty, and even if it didn't, well, to banish her they'd have to talk. Piano would settle for that. Piano opened her eyes and looked toward Luna's booth. Would the mare be smiling, crying, or would she have raised a hoof in anger? None of those. Luna was gone. She wasn't even going to talk to Piano. Feeling lower than ever before, Piano rose and left the stage, whispering audience behind her. She would cry, she told herself, when she got her home. Piano, amor! Piano's head shot up. Luna was standing before her, on the creaky backstage area like it was her throne room. She looked angry, yes, but also understanding, at least a little bit. I understand, she said in a quiet voice. Your family's straits, and I apologize for not doing more either. Earlier, your family has always served the court well and with wisdom. Amora blinked. Could it be? Was Luna going to save them? But... And now there was ice and steel in her voice. Your circumstances do not give you the right to bring up my history in a transparent attempt to circumvent my secretary. They do not give you the right to lie about me. She approached Piano. Do you truly believe, she said, that I care so little for my subjects that I would ever wish that it was Corona who was the victor? Piano didn't know what to say. I don't know, Your Majesty. All I know is my own feelings. Then you have no right to play that piece, Luna sighed. I acknowledge your courage and your love for your family. I will see to it that the armor decline is arrested. I will not build your house back up. The court is a meteoritic institution, and I cannot and will not interfere in that matter. But you need not worry about homelessness or destitution. Tears filled Piano's eyes. Thank you. I am not done. Luna turned away from Piano. You admit that you played a piece that you did not understand, though it took me and my sister as the subject. You have betrayed your art, and you have lied to me about it to your audience. I will think very carefully, Piano, about this before attempting another piece in my earshot. Piano could feel the chill emanating from her. I will not forgive you a second time. Luna vanished in a bluish mist, leaving Piano to stare at her in wonder. She didn't care she could never play in public again. Her family was safe, and that was what mattered. That was the only thing that mattered. Chapter 9, because I am pretty dang positive now, snapped Strings. As the concert neared, Octavia continued to practice in the tower room, working out and refining the ending. It would be the most difficult movement she ever played. Innumerable voices, and they all had to be played exactly right. Failure was, for every reason, not an option. This is the most important performance of my entire career. Lyra's fate and mine depend on this. I will not allow myself to fail. The burglar hadn't come back since he sounded some sense into Octavia. Even though Octavia had put the little piece of parchment out the window, indicating she wanted to speak with her. But the cellist had the feeling that the burglar would be at the concert. I don't know how, but she knows about music. I think she'll be able to appreciate what I do. Octavia frowned as one of her notes came out a trifle fast. Went back and played through the section again. I am playing for the princess. It must be perfect. She smiled, and it will be. I am one of the best cellists in the country, and I have my friends at my back. I will defeat you, Greengrass. Lyra Heartstrings had planned on taking a tour of her favorite shops, parks, restaurants from her academy days, but she found herself too jittery to appreciate any of it. So, rather than waste her time and bits on entertainment she couldn't enjoy, she picked a park and began to play. Hey! Called a guard as her lyre appeared before her. No busking without a license. I'm not busking, she said. I'm not collecting money. Just staying in practice. Soon, she had an appreciable crowd around her. She smiled. playing a fast and exciting piece she learned at the academy. Soon, many of the audience members, especially the foals, were clapping their hooves in the time to the music. "Which is just adorable!" was Lyra incorporated into her performance to get some syncopation effects. "I'm not worried," she thought. "Well, maybe a little. But Octavia can do it. I believe in her." She sped up a little, and a few of the ponies around her, a couple of teenage ponies, clearly on some kind of date, began to dance in time with the music. She grinned and added a more obvious dance beat. Music, she thought, had a magical quality all its own. Surely it could move even an ageless alicorn. "Now," said Blue Blood, looking at the unicorns and earth ponies in front of him, "here are your orders." The leader of the quartet, a wiry unicorn named Motor, nodded briskly. "Yes, sir." The Blue Blood continued in a calm, steady voice. "Emotor, you will use your magic on Octavia to charm her, and then you will lead her without harming her to the warehouse, where you will keep her thus charmed until the beginning of the concert." He looked at the other unicorn. "Mirage." "Yes." "Hey! No publicity in your old fanfics!" "Sorry. I will not mention Equestria's Mirage, which is available on Fanfic, on this show ever again. Available on Fanfic. If Octavia has bodyguards or all the ponies with her, use her users to distract and separate them until Emotor has charmed Octavia and removed her from the scene. And you two," he nodded at the earth ponies, "keep the unicorn safe and make sure no other faction seizes Octavia. If any other noble tries to intervene by sending things, you can hurt them, and only them." Emotor inclined her head. "Yes, sir. We'll get her." "Let me make one thing very clear." Blue Blood nodded sharply. "It must look like Octavia did not show up due to her own choice. Restraint marks, bruises, anything like that will ruin the illusion, and I don't think I'll go to bat for you if that happens." "Sir, we're professionals," said Heavy. "We can capture her without leaving a mark. You can count on it." "Couldn't we just steal her cello?" asked Mirage. "She can't play without it, right?" "I have reason to believe, from the information Greengrass gave me a few weeks ago, that her green friend can summon instruments magically," said Blue Blood. "So no, that won't work. Restrain her, hide her, don't let her reach the concert hall." "Yes, sir!" sounded four ponies. Blue Blood smiled and dismissed them. He wished he could see the look on Greengrass's face when he found his plans were ruined. "Sir, I have news." Greengrass yawned as he awoke. It was mid-afternoon, a bit after early for him, but then again, Notary would only awake him for important information that couldn't wait. "What is it, Notary?" "I just received word from Fix and Blue Blood's hoofmare. Blue Blood is going to interfere with Philharmonica's concert. He's hired Heavy Hitter and Motor and a few other mercenaries to prevent her from reaching the concert hall in time." Greygrass paused, then burst into laughter. "Why in Equestria would he do that?" "He seems to think he will be thwarting a scheme of yours." "By causing the outcome I want?" Greengrass began to get out of bed. "Well, I suppose I can't blame him for not knowing that part. Still, bad move. Now, if this plan gets exposed, we can pin the blame on him." "Sir, if Philharmonica has a reason to not make the concert, namely, being abducted, she could get out of the performance without losing face." Nori inclined her head at the door. "I could send Axe and Bear to head them off." "No, don't. If I send my agents to help her, that implies I'm backing her and helping her with the concert that Luna hates. It would be a great excuse for Luna to blacklist me and have me shut out of court life." He shook his head. "Besides, the whole point here is on firing Octavia. It would defeat the point if I helped her now." Notary paused. "And if, say, Heavy hitter has Octavia tied up in a warehouse somewhere, and she is discovered, or if he makes a mistake, at least proof of the abduction, such as tying ropes around her legs and leaving marks. It could give her enough of an excuse to prevent Luna from shunning her.
I don't think that will be a concern. Greengrass rose and approached the door. First of all, Heavy and a motor are reasonably competent. Screwing up like that might happen, but it's unlikely. Second, there would only come out later, at the concert itself. Octavia would fail to appear, and she'd be condemned by Luna in the court. She could only get out from under that if somebody proclaimed far and wide what had happened, and why that meant it wasn't her fault. He smiled thinly. She has no political allies to make that argument for her, and we know that she would never make it herself. She won't excuse any failure of hers. This one will be no different.
Nori nodded.
But I do hope she manages to give them the slip, though. Either way, her career is over, and Lulamoon gets the message. But all else being equal.
He smiled like a full and heartwarming Eve.
I would love to hear that symphony performed by such a master. They say it's one of the most beautiful pieces ever written. It has not been performed in 70 years. Oh, were the elements to be delivered to me on a silver platter. But it could only be signed for just as Octavia began that piece. It would be hard to be pressed to choose.
He got up and began trying toward the door.
I trust you have something to rare.
Yes, sir. Although it does seem to be a waste to get up for a show that might not happen.
Notary. That's not quite right. The music might not happen. But either way, Luna is going to have a very interesting reaction. I think we'll be in for a show regardless.
Night fell, and the concert approached.
Octavia checked her watch.
It was 8. Concert began at 10. It took about 20 minutes to walk from her current location, the Castle Drawbridge, to the concert hall. Factoring in time for tuning, warming up, possible emergencies, and her own desire to arrive at any venues as substantially before she needed to, she had to leave within 2 minutes. She smiled. She knows that she should be worried, but she felt a deep joy instead. Whatever happened afterwards, she was playing a beautiful work, and for the audience she always wanted to play for, the Princess of Equestria herself, and she had her friends at her back. That mattered. She began to trot toward the concert hall, cello in its case, safely strapped to its back. It was a beautiful night, and she wanted to listen to the city before she reached the venue. As much as she loved sunrise, there was also something lovely about the first few hours of night in Canterlot. The day the business was closed, but those that served the court and courtiers were just soaping up. There was a bustling sound to everything. As she walked down the wide street, passing by familiar shops and restaurants, she felt a twinge from the back of her head. Great! A headache is just what I need! She smiled. Then again, that's why I practice even when I'm sick. I've given concerts with colds or aches before. This isn't...
Doom.
Octavia blinked. Where did that word come from? She hadn't heard it. Some stray thoughts, she supposed, from when she had been worried about Lyra leaving in.
You're doomed.
Was somebody sending those thoughts to her? Stop that! She snapped, looking around. Was it her, or did it seem darker somehow? Like the street lamps, and even the stars had dim. But it's okay. You deserve to fail. This is just... Stop it! She tried to go faster, but her legs felt oddly frozen. She couldn't do more than stumble a few steps. I will call the gods! I will... Whatever else she would do would never be known, because that the bizarre numbness reached her mouth. She stagged, struggling to just remain upright. You're a hopeless failure, and you deserve nothing but destitution and disgrace. How could a depraved pony like you hope to look Luna in the eye? As he was seeing images that weren't really there, memories from when she agreed to work for Greengrass, from when she agreed to bring Lyra back to Canterlot, from when she thrown Lyra out of her practice room. Get away! She hissed, struggling to take another step. Why was it so dark? I am over this. A friendless traitor like you. No, You still got just enough honesty to know the depths of your degraded character. The voice was booming in her mind, seeming to absorb all her other thoughts. She couldn't form a plan, couldn't even think to call for help. It was like whoever was doing this was hijacking all her mental energy to cascade her. Get out of my head! She menaced. I don't think so, Tommy. You can't get rid of me. Maybe you can ignore me for a while, but I'll always be there. Even if you scam your way to some reward or renown, I'll make sure you know you don't deserve it. The last words echoed in Octavia's head, drowning out her increasingly feeble protest. She raised a hoof, but then lowered it back down. She couldn't seem to go forward. Her entire mind was shouting at her to not bother, that it didn't matter, that she didn't deserve to take even one more step. So she only stood there, staring at nightmares.
Nice work, said Heavy Hitter. Took a while, though.
She's beyond stabbing, hissed the motor. Her horn was glowing, a bright fiery red. Lumire's got a hard head to crack.
You see yours now?
Well, you won't be able to get her to assassinate anypony, or jump off a bridge, but yeah, she'll follow you into a locked closet somewhere. Not enough left in her head to care that's a bad idea.
Heavy Hitter approached Octavia. Hey, sis? He waved a hoof in front of her. Sis?
A guard walked by.
Is she alright? Sorry, my sister gets like this. Ever since Carol's return. Well, we're getting her treatment.
Heavy Hitter shook his head.
Come on, sis. Let me take you home.
He began leading her away, off the main road. She followed docilely.
Hey, Tower, get her cello, will you?
Said Heavy, as the guard moved away. Tower, the other earth pony in the group, carefully unstrapped from Octavia's back. The mare no more gave than a faithful protest. Was quieted as the motor redoubled her spell. Mirage approached as well. Where do you want it?
Heavy Hitter thought, away from her, where she can't get it even if she somehow escapes. But it won't be damaged. You know what? Just put it in Canterlot Bank.
The bank?
Yeah. Safe deposit box is stored there. We'll leave the key with her once we clear out.
Right, boss. Tara had to so. Wow, this thing's heavy.
Just me. Move it, said Heavy. The Mia's at the warehouse. We'll stay here until after 10, then clear out. Let's go!
Heavy led Octavia down a side street. The unicorns followed. Chapter 10. True Loyalty. Lyra frowned. Rose Octavia. The Cellists always liked to be at a venue at least an hour and a half before curtain. In fact, she was fanatical about arriving that early. It gave her time to check her tuning, made sure the venue was set up to her standards, and fix it if it wasn't, and have a few minutes to calm herself before the show. But now, it was 30 minutes to curtain, and there was no sign of the mare. The event was ostensibly a party to celebrate the signing of a treaty with some southern country. Lyra wanted to enjoy the food and other entertainment. There was a jester show going on at the moment, but she couldn't help but keep herself distracted by thinking of that. Octavia should have arrived at least an hour ago, but she was not present. She hadn't even sent word she'd be late. She could have been running behind due to practicing. As she practiced the other day, she may have been delayed by some kink or rough pass in the symphony. She could be stuck in some traffic jam. Maybe construction had shut down a road or closed a bridge. Or... No! She did not flake! I know she didn't! She wouldn't! She is my friend and wouldn't leave me hanging, and she wouldn't surrender even without fighting for her career. She shook her head lightly. I will not doubt her. She did not flake, and she will arrive in time. She nodded to herself, and shifted slightly in her seat. Yes, Octavia would be here to perform, and...
Excuse me.
A unicorn in a regal outfit had approached to her while she was distracted.
Miss Heartstrings, was it?
Yes. I don't remember him from the concert I gave a few months back. So if he knows me, it's probably because I'm an element. Great. I don't need this now.
My name is Prince Blueblood. Allow me to formally welcome you to the Night Court, he said. I do hope you enjoy yourself.
Thanks. Lyra tried to smile at him. I intend to.
You know, I think I read about you in the paper.
Blueblood smiled, but it was obviously fake.
Ah, yes, you're helping Philharmonica with a concert, aren't you?
He shook his head.
I'm sorry she hasn't arrived.
She will.
Well, of course, we all hope that.
Blueblood shrugged.
But who knows? I'm sure you're aware of the reputation of this piece and...
She will be here! Lyra stood. I'm certain of it.
I'm sure you are. You seem like a most loyal friend. But in case she isn't as quite as loyal and runs away, well, there could be some political fallout. The princesses might well be upset at any pony who wasn't involved.
He smiled again, clearly faking it.
You know, I have some influence with the princess. If you wanted Miss Heartstrings, I could try to assert that she understood it wasn't your fault.
Lyra raised an eyebrow. In exchange?
Oh, nothing much. But, well, you're a bit special, Miss Heartstrings, element and all, so...
As she thought, I'm not interested, she said, turning away.
Now see here, Miss Heartstrings.
Blueblood frowned.
If Miss Philharmonica doesn't show, and you don't have protection, it could damage your career permanently. No pony associated with this piece has ever performed again. You need a Patreon.
I said no. Lyra glared at him. I trust Octavia a lot more than I trust you. Blueblood looked stunned.
Do you know who I am?
Yeah. Trixie Lilymoon told me about you.
Well, I don't know what that fool...
I say! Fancy Pants trotted over. Is everything all right? You two look almost agitated. He shook his head. This is a party. A celebration. We shouldn't be fighting. He smiled genially. Blueblood glanced at him.
No trouble here. I was just stepping away, actually. Good luck, Miss Heartstrings.
He smiled.
I'll be back later.
He was gone. Lyra sighed. Thanks. Oh, think nothing of it. Fancy Pants grinned. By the way, I couldn't help but overhearing a bit of that. I also think Philharmonica will arrive. She hasn't missed the concert yet. No, she hasn't. And she won't miss this one. Don't move. Don't even think. Mere existence is more than you deserve. Octavia knew there were arguments against that. She knew that she believed him now, but she couldn't come up with them. Her thoughts were scattered and disjointed, and whenever she started trying to organize them, they slipped away like grains of sand. It was only very recently that she had stopped believing these things. They were still too fresh and raw for her to have internalized any defenses against them. She could figure out, vaguely, what she was supposed to do. Getting up would be a good start, followed by leaving the warehouse, but she couldn't hold on to those ideas long enough to implement them. Just stay perfectly still. Maybe if you don't interact with any pony, it won't hurt them. Has any pony ever benefited from knowing you? You reduced Lyra to tears. Every colleague you've ever known dropped you the minute things got hard. There's a reason for that, you know. It's that you aren't worth trying to save. No! She groaned. Stop it, please. The room was unusually dark. Whatever had cursed her was making it hard to see. Her hooves felt numb when they brushed the floor, and when she bumped into a wall. She knew it more from her inability to move than actual physical sensation. Even her normally impeccable sense of time had gone haywire. She had no idea what day it was, much less what hour. Her hearing still worked, more or less, but that wasn't helping. She could hear the ponies in a nearby street, businesses selling everything from sofas to quills, and nearby, the breaths and hoof steps of a few pacing ponies who were probably, not that it mattered, she couldn't help but think, the ones holding her captive. In the distance, from what had to be Castle Park, she heard a nightmarish thrill. It reminded her a bit of Lyra, one of her songs. The sonata, "Hi!" for birds had been designed to imitate the gorgeous voices that songbirds Luna kept in her castle. Lyra, she isn't here, is she? She won't bail you out this one. She finally sees the real you and decided that you weren't worth it anymore. A single moment passed, and Octavia thought, no. Octavia Philharmonica was not an element, at least not in this universe. She could not use elemental magic, at least not in this one. But Lyra could. The lyrist was the element of loyalty. And that didn't only matter when she was trying to take down some huge, unstoppable monster like the Tyrant Sun. It affected and colored all that she did. One could know of her loyalty, her devotion to friends, without her ever having known or met Corona. And Octavia, who knew Lyra better than most, knew this well. Octavia could not muster the mental energy to move or walk. She could not open her mouth to call the guards. She was hard-pressed at that moment to remember her own name. But she did know one thing. Lyra Heartstrings would not betray her. Her loyalty had been demonstrated so often over their time together, especially these past few days, that any thought of the contrary was evidently false. If Lyra knew she was, she would be there, and she would help Octavia however she could. That was all there was to it. She would say, she started to think, that I should get up and walk away. I would say I could not. She would help me. She would play one of her songs. She could practically hear it. Lyra would play something strong and forceful, something with a driving energy that demanded motion, something with a strong beat to help Octavia coordinate her stubbornly resistant legs, and something beautifully musical. Yes, she could hear it. She, who had trained Lyra relentlessly, could hear exactly what her friend would play to help save her career. Move, Lyra would have said. Get up. Don't worry about timing. I'll handle the coordination. Just move to the beat. And Octavia, who had spent decades of her life learning how to respond to music, did so. She didn't need conscious thought to do it. Reacting to music was practically instinctive to the cellist. The melody increased pace, and Octavia began to trot. Her body and motions were perfectly coordinated with the illusionary melody. Lyra, Octavia thought, would be right beside her. No matter how hard the music got, she would keep going, because she was Lyra Heartstrings, and she wouldn't stop until Octavia was safe. The music driving her, Octavia exited through an arbitrary door and found herself in a side room. 2 unicorns were there, one pacing, and one focusing on some spell. The music increased in speed and ferocity again. Octavia broke into a canter, bearing down on the 2 unicorns. She saw them look up, but she wasn't using her eyes. She wasn't even using her ears. She could hear the music in her mind, and that was what mattered. The music swelled in volume, a dramatic wave of sound that demanded an equally dramatic response. Octavia swiveled around and bucked, felt her hose connect with something hard and horn-like. The fuzz in her head ended and vanished. Consciousness thought returned to Octavia, who grasped what had been done to her in a moment. She swiveled around and saw with satisfaction that both unicorns were staring at her in unabashed terror. The one that bucked had a nasty bruise, and it was her horn cracked, but her reaction was still more fear than pain. I, hissed Octavia, am going to end you! She approached. Lyra Heartstrings. Lyra didn't bother to turn. I told you before, I'm not interested, Blue Blood. 20 minutes are left. She can't even tune up in that time. Blue Blood's tone was triumphant. You need help, and despite your insults, I'm willing to offer it to you. If I was going to make that deal, I'd made it with Greengrass. Lyra couldn't help but smile at Blue Blood's little choke of indignation. Well, he seems unwilling to offer it at the moment. I don't care if there's only 20 seconds left. She'll arrive. Lyra glared at him. Don't you have anything better to do? Miss Heartstrings! cried another pony. Lyra turned to see it was a journalist. Do you think Octavia will show up? Did she flake? Called another. No, she said in a barely restrained tone. I mean, yes, she'll show up. No, she didn't flake! You sure you don't want to duck out before Luna arrives? She couldn't even say who said this. Some jerk from the upper booth. Maybe she won't notice you're involved. No! The last shout was loud enough to still another conversation in her vicinity. Lyra blushed, realizing other ponies were staring at her. But now she had something to say. So she said, For the last time, no. I'm not leaving, and I'm not making any deals. Octavia Philharmonica will show up on time and will perform the Symphony for Moon and Sun to Princess Luna's satisfaction. That's all I have to say on the subject. There were murmurs at that, but Lyra didn't care. She stepped away from her seat, approached the stage, and sat on the edge. It was a clear signal. Lyra was waiting for Octavia, and she'd do it in full view of the court if that's what it would take to demonstrate her sincerity. Come on, Tavi, she thought, as the court's murmuring redoubled. Where are you? You will tell me what my schedule is now, or I will stomp you into so many pieces that all Luna's gods could not reconstruct you! Roared Octavia. Mirage had lasted a bit longer to emote her, who was now conscious in a heap. Still, she wasn't completely crazy. I knew she was beat. Cadillac Bank! That's all I know. Tell her you're so there! Octavia scowled and bugged Mirage in the hair. The mayor crouched in a heap. Depraved. I can't believe I thought I was as bad as ponies like you! She hissed. What time was it? She probably hadn't missed a concert yet. Or they had to let her go. She still had time. She had to get to the bank and... As they strode out the side door into an alley, she almost ran into Heavy Hitter. Heavy stared at her, then looked over her shoulder at two unicorns. Well, he frowned, not supposed to hurt you. But given what you just did to two of mine, I think my boss will make an exception. He smirked. Heavy Hitter, mercenary. Octavia bent her legs slightly, so she could spring faster. I will crush you. Heavy casually bucked the wall next to them, denting the brick and metal structure. Exactly. Stand down. I'll go easy on you if you give up trying to escape. I refuse. Find out! Something raced down the wall, leapt off, landed right behind Heavy. He tried to turn, but the newcomer's horn glowed a bright white, and when she bucked him, there was a flash, a sizzle, and a flying earth pony. Octavia winced as Heavy crashed into the wall. Octavia stared at the burglar. What are you doing here? You have a concert in 15 minutes. I came to find you. The mayor, still in that weird uniform that rendered all her features indistinct, seemed to smile. Of course, you'd have to rescue yourself by the time I got here. Congratulations. Thanks. We need to get to the Catalan Bank. Heavy got to his hooves. Let's try, he said. He didn't even sound hurt. Take a real shot this time. He charged at the mayor. Octavia began to race at him, but the mayor yelled, No! As he dodged. Get to the concert. Lyra needs you. What about you? I did not just rob a bank. I beat up one of these losers to see you miss the concert. To go help me fight this nitwit! Her horn glowed as she dodged another blow, and Octavia saw her cello case float around the corner. Go! Octavia raced past the two fires, dodging Heavy's kick, and headed her case onto the back. I'll call the guards! The button is run! Hurry! Octavia looked at the position of the moon. 15 minutes to make a 20-minute walk, and that wasn't counting setup or tuning time. Could she make it? Lyra helped me. Now I need to help her. I will make it in time! She took off at a dead run.